And all that violence is racking up massive bills. Almost $900 million. That's what Russia is spending every day on the war. $900 million. And today is day 78. So put together, that's nearly $70 billion. Now, every war is expensive. America's Iraq war cost nearly $2 trillion. The Afghan war cost around the same. But there's one key difference. In Afghanistan and Iraq, America did not face sanctions. They had allies supporting them. Russia, on the other hand, is heavily sanctioned. Their only ally is Belarus. So the war is slowly draining the Russian economy. They haven't said it publicly, but a new leak points in this direction. Russia's finance ministry is expecting a 12% drop in their GDP. This is what the leak says, 12% drop. And 12% is a disaster. It means complete financial ruin. If true, this would be Russia's biggest economic crisis since 1994. Back then, it was a financial shock. Russia was turning from communism to capitalism. So naturally, the GDP contracted. This time, it is a totally avoidable crisis. Russia's economy is suffering because of sanctions. As the war drags on, so will the sanctions. The G7 has decided to phase out Russian oil. Europe is planning to do the same. So chances are things will get worse. Right now, Russia's economy is propped up by Europe, by their multi-billion-dollar gas payments. If those payments stop, Russia will be in trouble. How much trouble? Well, that's hard to say, because Putin has carefully built a narrative around his economy, that it's sanctions-proof. Russian economy is sanctions-proof. That's what he says. Plus, experts have very little access to data, so their analysis is often skewed, inaccurate. For instance, the IMF is projecting Russia's economy to contract by 8.5%. Russia's own government is projecting 12%. Clearly, some variables are missing. Having said that, other variables are plain as day, like inflation. It's almost 17% in Russia. Unemployment is expected to hit 7%. Big brands have already wrapped up their business, from McDonald's to Shell to Toyota. Most multinationals have pulled out of Russia. Can Putin's economy survive this isolation? Maybe it can. Maybe Russia has enough reserves to keep itself afloat. But what about growth? Surviving is one thing, growth is quite another. And this is where Vladimir Putin could be in trouble, because Russians will have aspirations, as they should. Jobs, fancy dinners, even Netflix for that matter. If those aspirations are not fulfilled, the people may turn. What can Putin do to prevent that? One option is to wind up the war, or as he calls it, the special military operation. Wind it up. Reports say Russia is, in fact, ending the current phase of the war. Their plan is to stop with Kherson. Why Kherson? Well, this map should give you an idea. Kherson region is located in southern Ukraine. What you see on the map there. To the south is Crimea. To the east is Donbass. So if you take Kherson, you complete a land bridge. What will Russia do with this region? Well, here's what the Kremlin spokesperson said, and I'm quoting. To become part of Russia or not is the decision of the residents of the Kherson region. It is the residents of Kherson who should determine their fate. In other words, a referendum. Kherson could either become part of Russia or declare itself a republic like Donetsk and Luhansk. Needless to say, it will be a sham referendum. Putin will take the call, and the so-called referendum will merely rubber stamp it. But here's the question, can Putin live with this mini defeat? It could be his only option. Think back to Russia's Victory Day parade this week. Putin was expected to declare full-scale war on Ukraine. He did not. He stuck to his neo-Nazi rhetoric, but he did not declare war. That could be an indication of his mindset. Perhaps he is looking for a way out. Do Western leaders realize this? Well, Joe Biden certainly does. Let me tell you what he said on Monday, and I'm quoting what Joe Biden said. The problem I worry about now is that Putin does not have a way out right now. And I'm trying to figure out what we do about that. Put yourself in Biden's shoes. A nuclear-armed autocrat is looking to wind up his disastrous war. What would you do? Perhaps call for talks or ask Ukraine to seek a respectable peace deal. Joe Biden is doing none of that. His defense secretary is openly talking about weakening Russia. His Congress is readying a $40 billion weapons package, and now he is preparing to expand NATO to Russia's northern border. Putin may have started this war, but Joe Biden has done little to try and end it. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.